So it's Sunday, December 15th, 5:45. Well, it was 5:45 p.m. when I just went outside to feed the cats after putting my hens to bed, my chickens to bed. And the female of next door, this is the wife of lawnmower guy. She went out there to cough at me, basically. Now, what I want to say is this. I'm online every single day posting that this is torture. I've named it. It's called exploitation of phobias. The coughing is the absolute worst. It's the worst one they gave me. And if I haven't posted the story of how they did that, I will. But that was at British Airways. They did that. My colleagues did that to me. Anyway, this is why I'm agitated. Okay, it's a very horrible thing. It's a body reaction. You can't. It's unavoidable. Okay, especially when they catch you by surprise. If you're braced, it's kind of a bit different, I think. But that this is what they do just constantly, and I have been under severe attack to like last night and today. Literally, I have done my best just to carry on, but they've literally been synchronizing. The gang stalkers on either side have been synchronizing every single time I go out. They're out there doing the street theatre, doing the exploitation of phobias, torture. I do my best if I sense that they're there or I hear them, I deliberately turn my head away so I don't see what they're doing. Because mostly, aside from the whistling and the coughing, mostly the triggers are visual. So that's what I've been trying to do. But this is unbearable. This is illegal surveillance for a start. They need to be watching me 24/7, every second, to know when I'm going outside. Okay, and then to synchronize it. It's an insane degree of surveillance. Okay, considering I'm a completely innocent person. It's insane. I truly believe that what they're trying to do is to force me to, I don't know, do something violent or something. They definitely want me to commit suicide, but it seems God has other plans for me. I've been under very severe attack last night. Not just the neighbours. Last night, I was woken in the middle of the night, and I do not believe that was directed energy weapons. I believe it was some kind of witchcraft attack. It wasn't anything that I had really experienced before. It was really it really felt like a cannonball was shot at me, but an enormous one, like the size of, I was seeing in my mind's eye like a snowball that somebody's rolled down a mountain, so that by the time it's at the bottom, it is enormous, like the size of a human. And this is so hard to explain. Literally, I woke up to being shot with this energetic thing in my chest. But of course, it hit a lot of my body because it's enormous. And then that was coupled with there was some kind of truck. I mean, a big truck, like I didn't go out to see, but from the lights, I could tell it was a big, like an 18-wheeler or I think it was an 18-wheeler, because the only other thing it could have been is maybe a garbage truck or something. It was enormous and it had the brights on. So they wanted to wake me up in a shocking manner, these people. They wanted to. I was very, very in shock, actually, at that point. And I just prayed. I just curled up and I prayed and prayed and prayed. And I felt that, and that was another thing. They are definitely attacking my chest. It was as if, this is hard to explain, but my lungs, there was something wrong in my lungs. And it was as if, they were trying to drown me or something. It was horrible. Like, and I've had something similar to that before where they've, I think I've explained it somewhere, that they did a chemical attack when I was in Texas. In fact, there was 2 chemical attacks. When I was in the field in George West, Texas, they did 2 chemical attacks, and that did something permanent to my lungs, okay? It like, my lungs periodically kind of fill up with fluid, and that's since then. But the immediate effects of that was like burning. All inside my lungs were just like burning. And then it seems like it's my body's reaction to get rid of whatever that is, that it produces a lot of mucus to then expectorate. I don't know the word. Yeah, I think it's expectorate. Like to get rid of whatever that poison was that they put in my lungs. And I've used MMS, but I haven't done it, to be fair, I haven't done it kind of regularly and long enough to see proper results. But what I have had good results with, because I've been consistent with it, is mullein. I got some mullein tincture, I think it is. And I've been taking that every day. And my lungs have been clearing. I can actually breathe a lot more freely now. But last night when they did this thing, it's as if that had all come back, and I could feel it was like they were trying to make me ill. I could feel even my throat sore. But I just prayed, I prayed and I affirmed, I'm healthy, whole and complete. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I was just very adamant in my determination that they're not going to make me sick, And they try very often to make me sick. That's another story. But I think they put something on my door handle. And I used to, literally every time I went out, the next day I would feel ill, and I figured out that they were putting something on the handle, and I know that they've done that before. They've done that before in England, okay? They did that when I was working at a nursery. In fact, I think they did it even before that. I think it's a long, sorry, this is too much information at once, but I think that's how they set up the whole thing, the whole coughing thing in the first place. Because many people think that this coughing thing is because I was caught, on camera, I don't know, coughing inappropriately or doing something a bit rude, like there was an incident in a movie theater, and anyway, there were 2 incidents. But the thing is that I think people think that I am being rightfully punished because I'm a bitch, kind of thing, And I'm not a perfect person, and I definitely can be a bitch, you know, but I don't think that deserves somebody to be literally tortured for the rest of their life, you know, just because they can be a bit grumpy. Come on. I mean, you know, anyway. But what I'm saying is, I think they settle all of that up in the first place. Because now I know that they do something to the door handles to, well, they've done it. They've done it lots of times to me, and they've tried to make me sick. Anyway, so when I realized, okay, so every time I go out, I start to feel kind of ill. You know, I start sneezing, my throat starts to hurt, you know, my chest starts to hurt. So I figured, okay, what could they be doing? So, and I remembered that they did something with the door handle when I was working at a nursery before. So I thought, okay, and I've started to disinfect the door handle and to wash my hands every single time that I go out and come back in again through the front door. And since I've been doing that, surprise, surprise, I've not been getting sick. Okay. These people, I mean, what is this about? It's total insanity. They're insane. How can they be constantly, you know, trying to make somebody sick and trying to kill them and stuff? What's wrong with them? And on top of it, the cops are in on it. Oh, this is seriously, it really, really feels like I've just stepped through, you know, some horrific portal and I'm in some, you know, terrifying alternate reality. It's just horrible. And literally that what keeps me sane is God, you know. I'm always receiving guidance. I'm always receiving reassurance. Sometimes it can be very obvious, like, for example, on the 12th, what are we now, 15th? So on the 12th of December at 12:12, you know, like God made me kind of, you know, catch sight of my phone with the, so it was 12:12:12, and then we're in the year 24, aren't we? You know, that's a lot of 12s. I don't know what any of that means, but he does this with the repeating numbers. Anyway, I don't care if anyone else believes this or not, but these are synchronicities, and it's just one of the many ways that God communicates with me. Just to let me know, okay, I'm on the right track, or don't worry, I'm watching over you, kind of thing. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't make it, really. I wouldn't make it. And anyway, last night I felt that I was being healed after, because I definitely did. I was starting to feel like I was getting sick, but then that just reversed. It just reversed. And this morning I woke up and there was the faintest little hint of a sore throat. But what I did was I just, but it was healed already. When it was on, it was way out. What I did was I make myself a drink, okay, I like to experiment. Because I don't have fresh vegetables and fruit most of the time, I feel like I'm lacking in vitamins, and so, it's not the same just to take a ton of supplements. It's just not the same. So I try to make things that will help me. And one of the things I make is it's a drink with hibiscus flowers, and I put all kinds of things in there. I put cloves, not ginseng, ginger. Yeah, I could put ginseng actually. That's a good idea. I haven't got any, but I could. That's an idea. Anyway, I put any fruit, because I order a box of fruit. I mean, it cost me like $60, but I do it maybe once every 2 months. I order it, and it comes from New York, I think. Can you imagine? It's probably the fruit probably comes from down south anyway. Probably the fruit comes from here, then gets shipped to New York, and then I order it, and it gets anyway. So I get a box of fruit, and whatever peel I have, like orange or yeah, it's orange or grapefruit are the only ones that I can use, but orange or grapefruit peel, I always keep that and I put it in this drink. So I put it all in and I boil it up. So cinnamon I put in it as well. Did I say ginger? Yeah. So, oh, and green tea as well. Just kind of healthy stuff. And hibiscus flowers is high in vitamin C. So anyway, it's kind of a drink that I have when I'm, it's my own little cordial that I make, and it's healthy. And I add a bit of lemon juice as well, lemon juice from a bottle. And that, I had that hot, but sometimes I have it like I mix it with seltzer water so that it's fizzy. You know, it's really nice. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling this story, but oh yeah, so that just, you know, the little bit of sore throat that I had left, that's gone now completely. So anyway, that's just what happened. I think I'm under attack because I'm doing these videos, so I'm not going to let myself be intimidated. They did mind control me to procrastinate most of the day, but now since that happened just now, I just decided, okay, I'm just going to do this. This wasn't how I was supposed to start, but I wanted to start telling the story about how the gang stalking started. As far as I know, and I know, look, I know that I've been a mind control victim since I was around 4. That I know. I know that from recovered, that's not the word. I had suppressed memories that came back to me. I don't know the word for this. But I kind of realized that I'd had these suppressed memories. And I know that was from when I was around 4 years old. And that was in England. There was a Masonic lodge at the end of the road around the corner from my house. Almost, if there had been a tunnel underneath, it would have, like, straight behind it, it would have ended up in my back garden. Okay, I believe so. It was that close, that direct. And you know, it was one of those buildings with no doors and no windows, you know. And next door, have I told this story before? I don't know, but I'm telling it. Next door there was, this was in a place called Peacehaven, on the south coast of England in East Sussex. And next door there was a family with 4 boys, and the oldest one, so I would have been about 9, and this boy would have been about 16, I think, ish. I'm guessing. And he was into little boys, okay? I don't know if there was any connection with that family and the Masonic lodge, but there were certainly strange things happening in that neighborhood that were not on the surface at all. And the reason I know that this boy was into little boys is that one of the little boys told me, okay? And it's not really my story to tell. And he never bothered me because he didn't like little girls, and possibly I was a bit too old. The little boy in question was around 3. Anyway, so I'm going to skip now to when I was starting at British Airways, because that is where I believe the actual gang stalking started. Although there were elements of that before then, but the real gang stalking started when I started at British Airways. So one of the first things that happened was, I believe it could have been my very first flight, actually. It was a short haul flight. I can't remember where it was to. But I remember that. It was one of the very, very small aircraft, so maybe the 737. There was literally just me and a girl, another crew member. I remember her name was Sat. She was an Indian girl. This is not the same girl that I was talking about in another video who did bad things to me. This girl's name was Sat. She was very nice. However, the gang stalkers turned her against me too, but that was at a later date. Now that I remember, yeah. But that's another story. So it was me and this girl Sat, and the captain and the first officer, and they had invited us to go out, but not, I think it was just the hotel bar. I don't think it was anywhere. And I have a feeling it was somewhere in England, somewhere like, I'm trying to remember, like Nottingham or something. I don't know why that's come into my mind, but it was an internal, like within UK flight. I believe so. I don't know why that's suddenly come to me now. I can't even remember the UK flights that we had now. I remember the Scottish ones. We had Glasgow and Aberdeen, but it wasn't a Scottish. I think it was actually in England, and it would have been up north somewhere. Well, I can't remember. But anyway, so they'd invited us and we'd gone. Now the captain was a short man with very black hair and very blue eyes. Not a bad looking guy, really, but with a ring on his finger, okay? And the first officer was a nice guy. I cannot remember his name, but he was a nice guy. I remember I used to bump into him after that, and he was just always nice to me. And he was kind of skinny with sandy color hair, and I always thought he could have been a royal. He kind of had that look about him. And he was a gentleman, He was nice. I always thought he was just a nice guy anyway. I don't know if he was very new at that time, because he didn't seem very confident, whereas the captain was like, yeah, he was the star of the show, But I remember that he made a point. I think he even got a chair from another table and came and put it like right next to me. I looked at it, kind of leant over the table and looked right at me in a very it made me feel uncomfortable, really. I don't know. And I can't really remember what the conversation was about, but I do remember that it made me feel uncomfortable. Now looking back, I just wonder